crazy, crazy night. I had a really good time. Definitely hurting today. And yeah, we absolutely finished those 20 beers, for sure.
Yeah.
We haven't felt like this in a long time. But it was so fun.
I had such a good time. So worth it. Sunday, that's what Sundays are for. Lazy Sundays. Coffee.
Lazy Sunday, but we are going to be making an amazing, well, it's in the thumbnail, it's going to be the title.
Yeah.
Ravioli! What do you guys think of the name Autumn for our second kid? That was a struggle. We got all the ingredients we could. I held the camera the whole day and I couldn't even turn it on. I'm still kind of hurting. Starting to get better though.
I'm good now.
Are you good now?
90%.
I'm
Coffee.
Like 63%. Alrighty, still feeling it from last night's amazing festivities, but it was worth it. Gonna make this amazing stuffed ravioli now. This reminds me a lot of being in my early 20s when I was a prep cook and we would just go hard till like 3 in the morning and then a prep shift would start at like 6 in the morning and you just show up and you were like really hungover, maybe still drunk, and you just started prep cooking and then you cooked lunch. Yeah, that's how it went back in the days. Nowadays, whoo, it's tough. How you feeling there, Teacher Kate, prepping for your week?
I'm fine.
Nice. You went back to back.
Yeah, I'm good.
Back to back. And how's this little girl? Yeah. I missed you. You been hanging out with Noi? What's new? What's new with Sum Sum? Yeah, what's new with Sum Sum? Oh. You think you're so, hey, not your greasy little fingers right onto it. All right, actually, there's nothing I enjoy better when I'm hungover than just to like zone out and prepare a meal. So let's get started. Except for chicken prep. I hated doing chicken prep when I was hungover because you had to smell test it and sometimes it was like funky and almost off. Yeah, okay, anyways, let's go now. Ravioli, we're gonna start off with some ricotta cheese as our filling. Then I read online the way to drain it is to put it on some paper towel, or I'm using coffee filters, and press it down with some weight. I'm also going to saute up some spinach, throw in a little bit of garlic, and a pat of butter, and then I'm going to let that cool down. I'm going to drain it and I'm going to chop it up. For my marinara sauce, I'm going in with some olive oil, some chopped onions, chopped carrots. Pretty classic sauce here. I'm just going to let it saute down. I'm going to add in my spices, taste of Tuscany today. Pinch it in your fingers to release the essential oils. Let it fry up a little bit. Adding in some tomato paste to give it that really concentrated tomato flavor. Gonna cook it out a little bit so it gets rid of that really raw tomato flavor. And then add in my vino as much as you like. Scraping off the little bits of the pan, called deglazing. And once that's cooked down a little bit, I'm adding in my straight up tomato sauce. Don't forget to shake it out with some water or vino to get all that extra goodness in there. Stir it up, let it simmer on low for about 2 hours. Back to my ravioli stuffing, I gotta get some lemon zest for this recipe. So if you have a microplaner or a zester, that works really well. If not, use a sharp knife like me and go slowly. Take your time. Just get the outside rind off and not any of the bitter white part. Takes some getting used to, and then once you get your groove on, you can start going faster. Once you have that lemon fully zested, you want to chop it up. Get it minced as fine as possible. Alright, your ricotta has been drained. Get it all into a mixing bowl. Add in your lemon zest. Go in with your chopped drained spinach, a little fresh parsley, salt, pepper to taste. At this point you should probably add in some Parmesan cheese as well, but you know, we forgot to get it, so we'll make do without it. Mix it all up really good. An egg is going to go there as well, but before you add that in, you want to taste it to make sure it's seasoned properly. And it wasn't, it needed a little bit more brightness, so I added half the juice of the actual lemon. And then classically it calls for some nutmeg, didn't have it, put in some cinnamon. works just as well. Mix it, let it rest in the fridge till you're ready to go. On to Caitlin's famous fresh made pasta. 300 grams of flour goes in the bowl. You want to use about 100 grams of flour to 1 egg. That's what one of you guys told me in the comments. Thank you very much. We still don't really measure. She just goes by feel. Once you get your flour in, make a little well for it. The eggs are going to go in there. Crack all your eggs into a bowl. We're doing 300 grams of flour, so we're doing 3 eggs. Add in a little bit of olive oil. And then beat those up. Pour it into your little flour mixture. Caitlin likes to go half first. She mixes it from the sides of the flour walls into the egg. Going nice and slow, mixing it up until she feels comfortable and she adds the rest of the eggs in there. And then you just keep going, adding in more flour to the egg. Mixing until you have something that's pliable by your hands, and you just start mixing in more flour with your hands. It'll feel really soft at first, and then it'll get firmer and more pliable. Once that happens, toss it onto a flat rolling surface with some flour and start kneading it. Stretching out with the palm of your hands, folding it back onto itself. This is developing the gluten in the pasta, what makes it chewy and tasty. Once you've done that for about 10 minutes, you want to wrap it up in some plastic wrap and let it rest at room temperature for about 5 to 15 minutes. In that time, I also made up some garlic butter, which was just butter left at room temperature, some garlic, some parsley, some of that taste of Tuscany herbs, and a little truffle oil. It's going on this bread. Slice up a rustic baguette, lather it on with the garlic spread. We're gonna bake that in the oven. It's gonna be delish. We're gonna roll out our dough now, so you wanna get it onto a nice floured surface. And then I was watching this YouTube tutorial, and they had a really cool way to cut your dough in half, and I'm gonna try out today. It's called the karate chop method. And look at that, it worked. Wow. I thought it was fake for sure. So now that I have a manageable size, I'm gonna flatten it out and roll it out with my finest vodka bottle rolling pasta maker. And you just wanna roll from the middle, out, go slow, press evenly. It'll feel like it won't roll at the beginning, but it'll roll out. And you just want to keep rolling it until you get a nice big sheet like this. From the middle out, from the middle out, that's all you gotta remember. It's pretty simple. All right, ravioli filling, I'm adding in that egg. It'll just help bind when it cooks. It's been seasoned perfectly, so I'll add it in now. I don't have to worry about tasting it again. And then I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of filling, leaving about an inch in between each one. I'm gonna fold it over, kind of gauge where my cuts are gonna be, and then I'm gonna slice the excess pasta dough off. This is actually my first time making ravioli. Cut and release the little pockets of goodness, and then crimp it down with a fork. Seals it. Don't need any egg or anything like that. And I'd say that looks pretty good for first time making ravioli. I feel like my Nona would be proud. Alright, so my third time making them, I got even better and faster, and they looked even prettier. Same thing. Pull them down, slice it, release them, and fork crimp. Seriously, like, making food is so therapeutic for me. Alright, those are all done. Get them into a pot of boiling, heavily salted water. You want to let them go for about 7 to 11 minutes. Once everything is floating and the water is like boiling again, you know they're done. Our marinara sauce that had been simmering for 2.5 hours looks amazing. And then I'm gonna add in a little heavy cream. That's gonna make it into a rosé sauce. It's gonna take away a little bit of the tartness from the tomatoes. It's gonna add a little bit of sweetness because the cream is sweet, and it's gonna give it a little creaminess because the cream is creamy. It's gonna be delicious. With ravioli, you wanna put a little bit of sauce as a base on your plate first, so the ravioli has something to rest upon. Drop those pockets of goodness down there, and then just start covering it with the sauce. Beauty. Finish off with a little fresh chopped parsley. You're good to go. Alrighty. Ricotta, spinach, ravioli. In the middle there. I have no idea how this turned out. Really rich and creamy from the ricotta. Really bright from the lemon zest. The spinach in there makes it nice and earthy. Oh, so good.
Amazing. Like the flavors just blend so well together. The fresh pasta, always amazing.
Yeah.
And the lemon zest really brings out all the flavors.
So good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like it? Perfect. Perfect, delicious little ravioli filling there. Most of the recipes call for a little parm, and I wish we would have had it. It would have been so amazing with it, but we just forgot to buy it, so still really tasty. Herb, garlic, toast, butter, garlic, truffle oil, some spices.